Environmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, is a scientific body endorsed by the United Nations and is universally considered the world expert on climate change. Two Manoa professors were selected to participate in its most recent climate assessment report, and what they learned about Hawaii's projected climate change is eye-opening. Scientists say our world is rapidly warming, and more than 50% of the rise in the global mean temperature since the 1950s is caused by humans.
All of the impacts of climate that are human-induced are driven by population. So if we had fewer people on the planet, we'd have a lower impact.
Here in Hawaii, the biggest consequence of global warming is the projected rise in our sea level. Experts say it's inevitable, but just how much depends on what action we take.
If we do nothing and if we keep going the way we're going, sea level will be something like 2 to 3 feet higher than it is today by the end of the century. If we make a concerted effort to cap our emissions and to actually reverse the trend, we could see something like a foot of sea level rise.
Climate change isn't just impacting water levels, but what's happening below the surface as well. Scientists say about 30% of all CO2 emitted into the atmosphere is absorbed by the oceans, and that's hurting our underwater ecosystem.
This means additional stress, for example, to corals, to any calcifying organism in the ocean. So you have basically the effect of pH lowers calcification rates. And that may lead to changes in our coral reefs.
Experts believe the only way to avoid dangerous climate change is to keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. And the best way to do that is by capping carbon emissions.
Currently, we have already emitted about 540 gigatons of carbon. So we are at least halfway there. So we do not have much more action to reach this limit. So if we want to stay below this limit, we have to implement strategies that would lower the CO2 emissions so that integrated over time, we stay below 1,000 gigatons.
IPCC researchers aren't policymakers. They simply provide the scientific basis to inform governments and lawmakers who must then decide what action to take.